What's the crack, guys? In this video I'm talking about benchmarks. I'm going to give you an idea of where to aim for fitness tests, strength tests. But before I begin, I want to put this in perspective, and I want to remind everyone that we're talking about a sport that has so many different facets to it. And I'm also reminding you that this is the GYM and GAA series, so we do have a little bit of emphasis towards strength gain and muscle gain as well. So to illustrate my point, I'm going to take two all-star defenders, both playing with Dublin, Johnny Cooper and Philly McMahon. So Philly McMahon is a lot bigger and stronger than Johnny Cooper, and there is no way Johnny Cooper is going to be hitting the strength numbers that we're talking about. But here's the thing, he doesn't need to, because football is a sport that has so many different facets to it. His fitness levels, his football IQ, all make up for the fact that he doesn't have the same strength as Philly McMahon. So whilst I will be setting you targets to aim for in terms of strength numbers, those targets are mainly set there because if you're watching this, I'm presuming you have an emphasis towards getting bigger and stronger. And it's important to understand that, because the more we focus on strength and muscle, the less focus we have on endurance or fitness. So the first thing we're going to talk about are strength standards. Now the easiest way to do the strength standards is actually just give you the charts in the Facebook group. So these charts are based on beginner, intermediate, advanced, elite level lifting, and we have a specific couple of movements like bench press, pull-up, squat and deadlift. Now you all want to be aiming for the advanced level, but it can take up to 10 years to get to that level and even more. And if you're at the advanced level, you probably don't want to be going too much closer to the elite level, because that is definitely going to impact your ability to perform on the pitch. So to kind of summarize it, the advanced level on upper body movements, so bench press and pull-ups, is about 1.5 times body weight. If you're talking about a squat, you want to be able to squat 2 times body weight. And if you're talking about deadlift, you're talking 2.5 times body weight, and they're all for 1 rep. Now you don't have to test 1 rep. This is really important. You do not have to test your 1 rep max. You can test a 3 or a 5 rep max, and then from there calculate out what your 1 rep max would be. That's much safer. There's really no need for a GA player to be testing 1 rep maxes that often. So I have the charts here, and just to give you a perspective, for my body weight, I'm about 82 kilos. I need to get my bench press to 125 to be in the advanced category, and that's just about where I have it. Usually it'll drop a little bit during championship because I'm reducing the amount of volume I'm doing, but year round 120, 125 is where I'm at. So I don't need to focus on getting that much stronger in my off season. I just need to maintain that strength, and then I can focus on other things like my fitness or my agility. For my squat, I need to get it to about 167.5 to be advanced level. My squat just before I got into my championship program was 140 kilos by 4, which works out at about 160 kilos for 1 rep max. So I'm only 7.5 kilos away from being in the advanced level, which is really good. So if I was to look at my off season, what should I work on? My squat or my bench press? If my bench press is already on the advanced level but my squat isn't quite there, I should probably work on that squat. Okay, next test we're going to talk about is a 150s test. 150s basically measures your ability to do repeat sprints. So you're doing a shuttle drill, you're going 5 yards out, back, 10 yards out and back, 15 out and back, 20 out and back, 25 out and back, and you're doing that 6 times, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. It's a test that a lot of inter-county teams use and a lot of club teams use. Now we have a ton of data for inter-county and club level, senior, intermediate, junior, but I'm not going to be sharing that data with you. But what I'm going to do is give you an idea of where you need to be for the different levels within GA. So really, whether you're a junior, intermediate or senior player, you really should be aiming to get 700 or higher. Now I'm taking that if you're watching this video, you kind of have an interest in fitness anyway, and you're not solely concerned with being as big and as strong as possible and not having any fitness. So 700 is probably a pretty good way to go. Now 700 could be, if you're a junior or intermediate player, 700 could be kind of your peak fitness, and you might maintain in around 650 for the rest of the year. If you're a senior club player, or if you're really looking to up your fitness, aiming for in around 725 to 750 mark is good. If you're talking about being an inter-county player, you definitely want to be targeting in 750 in the middle of your season or during championship. It can be a little bit less than that, maybe 700 in the off season, but you definitely want to be getting towards 750 if you're aiming to be an inter-county player. And if you're aiming to be an all-star, you're talking closer to the 800 mark. You can also do a 1k test, but and to be honest, the 150s is probably the easiest test to do and to standardize. So if you are doing a 150s test, make sure that you're doing it on a repeatable surface, so either something like an AstroTurf or a track. What I'll actually do is I'll put a link to a 150s test that I I did in the off season, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Now again, going back to the first point that I made, these are kind of general benchmarks or recommendations, taking into consideration that people who are watching this video probably want to get bigger and stronger. So figure out what level you want to be at. If you're only playing junior or intermediate, then maybe you want to keep your 150s testing around 700, but you obviously want to aim for higher marks on your strength tests. Ultimately, the more time you spend doing endurance training and conditioning work is going to help your 150s, but it's going to negatively affect your strength gains and vice versa. So that's where again you've got to decide on how much time you want to invest. Also be aware that these are typically recommendations for people of an average height. Therefore, if you're a much taller player or if you're a much smaller player, I'm not saying that having those strength numbers or having those 150 scores or those fitness numbers are going to benefit your game. As an example, if you're 5 foot tall and you're competing against a guy who's 6 foot tall, no matter how much weight training you do, you're never going to match him physically, but you can probably beat him with agility or fitness if you've worked really hard on that. So that's why you've got to think about your game, think about what you're doing with your time in the gym if you really want to hone in on what's going to be best to improve your performance. That's the video. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let the boys know about the GYM and GAA series if you think they'll be interested, and I will see you in the next video. Slán!